We're going to take a look at Boeing here on the weekly chart. We are trading down just below that 210 mark. We're trading about 209 and a half in here. Obviously, a red candle on the week, and actually red candles in here for the past 3 weeks in this. But we do have earnings coming up in here pre-market July 28th. So you have one trading session in here this week before we're going to get that earnings call. This expiration is pricing in a lot of IV in here. If you look at your straddle in here, your at the money straddle, basically about a $12 and a half expected move being priced in by this Friday. So a lot of action, a lot of juice being put in here. But if you look at your skew, so if you go to this Friday's expiration, 731, and you got about $5 out of the money for your calls, $5 out of the money for your puts. They're basically trading the same, right? You have a little bit of a put skew in here, so nothing crazy. Whereas you're looking at these other high flying stocks that have earnings, right, where the skew is just always towards the calls, right? All your IV is at the calls, whereas here it's basically more or less normalized. So nothing really crazy going on in here. This thing could go obviously either way. So you're not really fading anything. You're not trying to really play against overpriced or over leveraged options in here. You're more or less just kind of trying to take everything into your advantage on either side in this stock in here. So either way, what are we going to look at in here going forward? Well, you have these two moving averages right here, that 50-day SMA, and then you also have that 9-day EMA. They're trading right around that same area, 218, 219. That's going to be a heavy spot for us. But if we do get a nice little earnings call in here, maybe a double beat, or hey, maybe we just like the forward guidance in here. Everybody just wants to kind of, we've been fading this thing for about 3 weeks. Let's go ahead and get a pop in here. Everybody likes it. Boom. Then that is going to be the first area that we do need to break and then hold. So that is going to be key for us. As soon as we break that, that's going to be a major floor for us. And then anything to the upside above that, we're going to be looking at 226 and then those 230s. To the downside in here, though, there's really nothing to save us besides this lower trend line trading right here. For this coming up week, it's going to be right around that 205 area. Obviously, that could collapse since we're definitely in that expected move in here by Friday. If we do end up coming back down below that level, then look for the 198 right here. That's going to be your 200 SMA in here. That is going to be a major floor for us. But overall, basically just bullish net flow throughout in here for Boeing. But it looks like obviously everybody is worried about earnings in here. So we're going to see how Monday's trading session is going to kind of shake out for us in Boeing. We're also going to look at Deere in here. You can see that we're trading just below that 630 mark in here. We don't have earnings coming up yet for Deere. That's going to be at the end of next month. So nothing really to worry about in here, but actually everything kind of pulled back in here on the day and on the week, obviously. But Deere actually had a nice big green candle in here, right? So you're up around 3% on the day. Your implied volatility sitting in Deere is relatively high. Now, could this be because some people are typing in Bloom wrong? They're trying to type in BE and then their DE is getting a sympathy play. That could be, stupid stuff like that happens all the time. But all in all, nice little pop in here. Your options volume has actually been slightly increasing in here. I know that's kind of weird to say in Deere. There's one of these old school like Dow stocks, right? That doesn't really do a whole lot, but large expected move in here, about $40 by this Friday. Your options volume has slowly been increasing. So let's see if we get a little pickup in here, especially as we near that earnings expiration cycle coming up at the end of August. But on the weekly chart, what are we looking at in here? Well, we're going to look at the upside, which is going to be that 638 mark. Anything outside of there, we're looking at the highs that came in this year at that 674. To the downside in here, what are we watching? 600 obviously is going to be the big psych level. Outside of there, you have the 9-day EMA. But if you want to throw that away, we're looking at that 586, and then we're looking all the way down at that 551 mark for an area to kind of hold us up in Deere. So a lot of implied volatility being sucked in here. Your options volume is increasing just slightly. So that's good. So let's see if we can get a nice little pop in here or a continuation of a pop that we just had in Deere and see if we can climb back in to hit those highs. So let's see what happens on Monday with Boeing as we are heading into that earnings cycle. We're going to see how the overall market is going to be affected by Boeing, or maybe the market is going to dictate kind of how Boeing reacts to its earnings report, since it is going to be coming that pre-market. So that has a lot to do with everything. But let's see in here. Let's see if we can get a little pop or at least a run up into earnings on that last trading session before earnings on Monday and see where we go from there. All right, guys, if you like this video, make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We also have a Discord service if you are interested, and you can find all of our socials in the description below.